After watching TVC News at 1, let's turn attention to business now. The World Bank, in its latest report, is projecting that growth will rebound in African economies from 2.6% in 2023 to 3.4% in 2024 and 3.8% in 2025. The new report is contained in the bank's statement in its latest Africa's Pulse report released on Tuesday. The report said increased private consumption and declining inflation were supporting an economic rebound in Sub-Saharan Africa. It, however, said the recovery remained fragile due to uncertain global economic conditions, growing debt service obligations, frequent natural disasters, and escalating conflict and violence. The report highlighted that external resources to meet gross financing needs of African governments were shrinking and those available were costlier than they were before the pandemic. And in the meantime, the president of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe, has commended the recent interventions and policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria in the foreign exchange market. Mr. Gwadabe, who was speaking on our flagship program, Business Nigeria, made the statement against the background of the recent gains recorded in the value of the naira. On Monday, the Nigerian currency appreciated for the fourth consecutive week to settle at 1,245 naira against the dollar amid amplified confidence in the naira.
In general, I think we've seen the achievement of the unification of exchange rate. There is convergence, This is, in 15 years, the first time that we have seen whereby even the parallel market rate is cheaper than the official market rate. So we are delighted. At least prices of commodities have started also reflecting in terms of air tickets is coming down. Also prices like daily needs.
Also speaking on Business Nigeria, against the backdrop of inflationary pressures characterized by rising food prices and declining purchasing power, the hike in electricity tariffs has raised concerns amongst Nigerians who believe these will further compounding the economic challenges facing Nigeria. Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Budget Nigeria, Mr. Olusegun Nigbite, bared his mind.
It doesn't affect the whole lot of Nigerians. In fact, I also found out today that I'm within the band B, so I figured out that there are very few Nigerians who are in the band A. But I still have challenges with that in some sort of way. Honestly, the exchange rate devaluation has affected the subsidy, electricity subsidy that has been given out over the last few months. So it's not just because Nigeria started consuming more electricity or because gas prices went much more higher. It's because the devaluation of the currency. Let's not forget that gas is priced also in dollars. So if a lot of subsidy that is going to the producers of gas and the Gencos is just because of the Nigerian government now has to pay much more money to this organization or to these institutions. So and now would you now put that burden up on, you put that burden up on average Nigerians in some way? I don't think that this is the silver bullet to the institution. I understand what the government is trying to do is that we are open to liberalizing this market so that we can find investments can come in, especially in the gas gathering and the gas transportation component of this work. But I don't think that is a sufficient framework for that to happen. There are a lot more things that the government can do.
Outside Nigeria now, global shares were mixed earlier today ahead of this week's U.S. inflation figures and European Central Bank meeting, while industrial metals prices extended recent gains on expectations of a worldwide manufacturing rebound. The pan-European stock 600 index fell 0.1% in early trade, while the UX, of course, the German 10-year bond yield dipped to 2.41% after touching a 3-week high of 2.45% the day before, while the euro held firm at $1.08. MSCI's products index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan increased 0.6%, while Japan's Nikkei rose 1.11%. And Turkey has restricted export of a wide range of products to Israel until a ceasefire is declared in Gaza. This is Turkey's first significant measure against Israel after 6 months of war. Israel has, however, responded, saying it would respond to the measures, which include curbing export of steel, fertilizer, and jet fuel, with restrictions on products from Turkey. Turkey has denounced Israel for its campaign on Gaza, which was launched following the Palestinian militant group Hamas in October 7 rampage. Before now, Ankara has called for an immediate ceasefire, supported steps to try Israel for genocide and send thousands of tons of aid for Gazans. The trade restrictions, which came into force on Tuesday, follow Israel's rejection of a Turkish request to take part in an air-drop operation into Gaza. Electric car manufacturer Tesla has agreed to settle a lawsuit over a crash in 2018 which killed Apple engineer Walter Hung after his Model X operating on autopilot collided with a highway barrier. The lawsuit instituted by Hung's family was scheduled to begin in the California Superior Court this week. If the trial had gone ahead, it would have brought increased scrutiny of the firm's autopilot and full self-driving technology. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed, and reports have said the deal still needs to be approved by a judge. Tesla is there to respond to requests for comment. The giant electric vehicle maker faces a series of lawsuits over crashes related to the alleged use of its driver assistant technology. And in the crude oil space, prices surge as portfolio investors are increasingly bullish about oil in Saudi Arabia, and OPEC allies restrict production in the face of rising demand, and the shadow war between Israel and Iran spews into the open. U.S. expects that intermediate crude rose to sell at $86.56 per barrel with an upsurge of 0.25%. Brent crude futures also experienced an upward price reveal of 0.28%, selling at $90.63 per barrel. Bonnet Light recorded a downward price margin of 1.66%, selling at $92.30 per barrel. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $91.12 per barrel, with an uptick of 1.72%. Well, and that's all for business.